Hi, this is Rachel Sargent, and I'm here with Pro-Life Unity at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C., at the Warman Park Marriott Hotel. And we have here Mr. Preston Noel. Tell me a little bit more about your organization.
Tradition, Family, and Property. We're a conservative think and do tank of Catholic inspiration. We work in the temporal sphere to defend the perennial values of Christian civilization from a Catholic standpoint. And we defend those values of tradition, family, and private property. And we make them, we bring them to life in the pro-life struggle in many, many different areas. Why? Because tradition, family, and property are the core principles of a society that's healthy. And so we defend them as opposed to socialism and communism. And right to life is a major area of that, obviously.
Tell me what you're doing with the pro-life area.
Well, pro-life area, we're very active every year, through the year, on many different pro-life issues, statewide, some national issues. We do a little bit we contact our congressmen and senators, as the case may be. But also, when we get to the annual March for Life, that's where I think we really start to shine. We have a marching brass band. They play patriotic hymns like the Marines hymn. They've got 6 bagpipers. They go with the statue of Our Lady of Fatima. And it enthuses people. That is part of what we're doing. It's not just logic, but it's logic with very good emotion. And that band really brings it. So you get these young men, and some young ladies too, but members like us, young men, campaigning, firm moral convictions, unafraid to say what they think, and to take the arguments to whoever wish to come. And we're good at that, and we love it. It's our life.
This is Herb Lux, and he'll tell you about his organization.
Okay. It's the American Patriots Committee. It's a PAC we formed back in 2008. It requires anybody running for public office to take a course on the Constitution and pass it, or prove their competence with a test, or we're not going to support them for public office. It's about time those men and women that raise their right hand to the square to uphold the Constitution, to protect and preserve our God-given rights, they understand what it means.
That's great. That's great. Everyone needs to know what the Constitution says.
Yes. Well, if there's one thing that I think if somebody could get this out of this convention, and I don't know how many people actually take the time to think about it, but there's 3 principles that I'd share with you, and that if people just remember these 3, they will help get our government back under control. And that's, first of all, is where our rights come from. Because there's only 2 sources they could possibly come from. Either they come from men, or we're born with them. As recognized by our Declaration, we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the second principle is to secure these rights, governments are instituted. So the only purpose of our government really is to protect our rights. Nothing more, nothing less. And the third thing is that just powers come from the consent of the governed. You and I. We all heard that, we the people, right? And you hear this, of course, now with the Tea Party movement, they call it all across the country. It's we the people, and the people do have the authority. But what's really important when it comes to the just powers is what authority do we have as individuals? Well, the fact of the matter is we have limited authority. We have the right to protect our life, liberty, and our property. Therefore, the natural outflow of that is for us to have a limited form of government. Because the only purpose of government is to secure that which we've been endowed with. Nothing more, nothing less. And right now we've been talking about for months and months this issue of health care, right? I mean, it's been a major thing for a long time. Our legislators, the members of the House, the Senate, the President, all they have to do is ask themselves this question. Do I, for example, have the authority to legally force you right now or anyone else to pay for my health insurance? Right? Don't have the authority, right? Then how do they think they can get the authority by hiring somebody else to compel you to do what they can't do themselves? Because if the authority is truly vested in the people, which it really is, they don't have the authority. You can't delegate that which you don't possess.
Well, that goes the same for abortion then. No one can force us to have an abortion either, or impose their views on us. No, see, the part about that is when you look at the Declaration, what it says there, it says we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's our gifts from God. And if somebody says, well, I don't believe in God, well, respectively, we'll just take God out of the equation for a second.
most people will agree if we were all born today, right? Everybody just came about today, we're all born together. Most people agree that somebody else wasn't born to be above them. They would say, well, we were born equal. Most people would want it that way, don't you think?
From conception to death, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So it's pretty important. But those three principles, if people would understand those and take the time to think, where do our rights really come from? What is the really legitimate purpose of government? And where the authority is vested in. If we had that much, we'd head to taking our country back where it belongs.
We could take back Roe v. Wade?
Oh, yeah. Well,
absolutely.
See, all these issues, the neat thing is here, when you think about it, issues are symptoms of the problem. You know what the real problem is? We do not have statesmen in office that have backbones instead of wishbones. Statesmen will not compromise their principles. We have politicians right now that will compromise and do whatever to keep their positions, and that's wrong. And our country we're at the brink of collapse of our very freedoms and the erosion of our Constitution unless we make a difference here in 2010. And I think this fall we're going to see a huge difference.